So today I wanted to talk about a couple things. There was a video released a couple days ago by Riot talking about what's going to be new for 2026, but because Champs was going on, I didn't get the chance to really talk about it, so I wanted to talk about it in this video. But first, before that, we also got this today as well, which is a little bit of a kind of veto, just like fun video that Riot put out, but they're here on Abyss, and it looks like they maybe leaked some changes to Abyss. If you just take a look at this video, straight away when you're watching it, you notice that this box over here, well, that's not currently there, right? Like this is different. This is definitely something different. It also, and maybe this is just me, I can't fully tell, you guys might be able to tell better than me, it looks like this is smaller. I can't tell if this is maybe just the video or whatever, but it looks like the pathway up here just looks a little smaller to me. That might not be the case, but just looking at it here, it does seem a little smaller, but maybe that's just my eyes. But there's another change as well, right? So obviously this box is quite a big one, but if we flip around the camera in just a second, which we will, you'll see this as well, right? So obviously with this geometry here and this is a very different looking B site, right? So they haven't done this in a while, right? They haven't actually changed a map in a little while, right? We've entered kind of a stasis of almost like where they're just rotating the maps, but Abyss, I think, is one of those maps that could use with some changes. I think that B site in particular could use with some changes, and I think stuff like this, if this is the case, then that definitely, yeah, that definitely is better for sure. But now let's talk about the changes coming to VCT as well for 2026. So this is the video, everything you need to know about Valorant Champions Tour 2026, and yeah, let's just dive into what they say.
As we spoke last June, we're planning big changes to the VCT in 2027. We're building the next era of the sport, a VCT that's more open, with more events and more variety of competition. We are very excited. So much that we're not going to wait until 2027, and we'll start introducing these changes next year.
From Forsaken's.
Right, so this is the first important part to note, because we knew that 2027 was going to be the part of the year where, things, the current format, the contracts that the teams had signed for partnership ended in 2027, right? So that was always going to be a crucial year to see what happened next, right? In theory, all of the teams in partnership could have changed, or the whole system could have changed. And it looks like, just based off what they said there and based off what is in the rest of this video, there is going to be significant changes in 2027. Okay, we'll come to what I think that might be towards the end of this video, but just know that next year will still largely look like this year did for the most part, it seems, but 2027 is going to be probably quite different to what we currently have, so just keep that in mind. But let's keep going for this video then and talk about what else is coming.
England will also host. Santiago, Chile will host the first Masters of the year, taking us to LATAM for the very first time, and our first time to South America since lock-in. London, England will also host a global event for the first time ever, bringing us back to Europe for the second Masters of the year. And to cap it all off, we're heading to Shanghai for Champions, where we'll crown the 2026 Valorant World Champion.
Okay, so those are the three events that we're getting this year. Santiago to start off the year, then London in June, and then Shanghai Champs. And if you just take a look at like where they've slotted them in terms of the months here as well, very, very similar to 2025 in terms of the calendar. So expect the calendar to look, roughly the same as it did last year, right? So if you're wondering when things start and when it probably ends, it'll probably, our Champs will probably end like it did early October, if I had to guess. So that's what we're looking at in terms of that. In terms of the destinations, going to Santiago, going to LATAM for the first time, cool. Masters London, of course, is probably going to be the Masters event that I attend the most, right? Of course, I went to Paris for a little bit, but London, I assume, yeah, I'll be there, probably multiple days rather than just one.
First step towards giving you more events. Next year, we're taking the VCT to twice as many cities as we did in 2025. The final weekend of each Stage 2 playoffs will be a destination event, with all 4 international leagues bringing the action to new cities in their regions. Then,
okay, so this is what Pacific did this year, right? In terms of sending the Stage 2 playoffs, on a bit of a roadshow, going somewhere else. Now, where they are in each region, I don't really know. If I had to guess, probably Americas, I think, would probably be in Brazil. EMEA maybe in Turkey, or maybe somewhere like Spain or something, because they do have quite a few Spanish orgs in there. Pacific, maybe just Japan again, or maybe, I mean, it could be in a lot of places in Pacific, to be honest. It wouldn't surprise me if they went anywhere. For China, they're doing a full road show.
More energy and more hype moments all around the world.
And in China, we are going big. VCT CN will take their entire 2026 circuit on the road, visiting 5 new cities throughout the year. It's the
So they're just full going roadshow with China, which makes sense because it seems like the fan base is there. But yeah, that obviously is going to be very cool.
Let's also talk about big changes we're bringing to our formats next year. Starting in 2026, every competition in the VCT will feature high-stakes, do-or-die, bracket-style play. That includes kickoff, IL stage competition, and global events.
So this I don't really understand because, of course, in the current format, and I know they did a plat chat where they talked to Leo, and I'm not sure, or maybe I missed it. If any of you do know what exactly was meant by this particular point, because of course, like, bracket elimination play is in kickoff, is in the playoffs of both the stages anyway, is in every Masters, of course. Like, so I don't know if that's like we're shifting completely to like kind of bracket style stuff where, you accumulate points kind of, maybe, and you just keep running little tournaments, and then if you finish first, hey, you get 5 points for this stage, good job, and then whoever's got the most points goes to the tournaments. I don't know. I generally don't know, but yeah, if you do know, let me know.
Kickoff will run longer and introduce a brand new format, triple elimination. That's right, 3 strikes and you're out.
Okay, triple elim for kickoff. Big thumbs up on this one. This one gets the TMV seal of approval. Big thumbs up.
Days where each day will qualify a single team to Masters Santiago.
Masters 1 is also getting a glow up. This year, we're expanding the field to 12 teams, bringing
also just a win. The 8-team Masters was probably one of the worst ideas I think they had.
competition to the international stage. More matches, more high-stakes moments, and a lot of championship points on the line.
Oh, and about champions, there's one more thing.
We told you we want to make the VCT more open, reigniting the dream for aspiring teams and players all over the world. And we will take that first step next year. Starting in 2026, challenger teams will have the opportunity to qualify to the biggest event of the year, Champions.
Okay, so obviously that is a big announcement, right? So the challengers teams can make champs. So you can be a tier 2 team and make champs. And the way that they did talk about this a bit on Plat Chat with Leo is the way this is basically going to work is whoever is kind of, the winners of the challengers leagues, essentially, those teams will go into stage 2 playoffs, right? And then those teams in stage 2 playoffs, will have to qualify like any of the other tier 1 teams would, right? Like, you have to actually make it all the way through. Now, they won't be able to make it on champ points, so I'm gonna guess they're gonna have to do pretty well to actually make it to champs. So we very well might end up in a spot where, no tier 2 team actually does make champs. In fact, I would say that's quite likely to happen, that no tier 2 team does actually make champs. But just the very fact that this exists tells you something else perhaps is happening as well, because I think this is likely because they're getting rid of Ascension, right? So instead of the winners of, challenges going to Ascension, they're putting them in the playoffs because Ascension probably won't exist in 2027, right? Which again is just kind of showing you that 2027 things are going to change kind of, in a big way. So if we take a look at the whole calendar, this is what it looks like. So you see we've got the challenges here and then their playoffs. So whoever wins these playoffs goes then into the stage 2 playoffs to potentially play at champs. And then you've still got game changers behind my head here as well. So this is what the whole calendar looks like. Now, in terms of like looking forward into like 2027 and what I think, judging by this, is going to happen, they've talked about wanting to open it up. I think what is likely to happen is that instead of like guaranteeing the tier 1 spots, I think what Riot is likely to do is say to the top teams that there's going to be some kind of like elo based system. I think they have already done this, right? Like, they kind of released that kind of power rankings thing. And I think they might use that as like, if you are in the top X amount of teams, then you get to, go through further on, and don't have to join these little competitions, earlier on. You just qualify, into the latter stages straight away. and then, you know, other teams fight it out for then the chance to play you, essentially, to then see who goes, you know, to internationals, and then we do a normal bracket, right? So that is kind of what I'm envisaging for the future of Valorant, perhaps something like that, where there still kind of is some guarantees for the best teams of like, hey, you'll still be starting from where you would have been anyway. But for maybe the lower teams who, you know, were guaranteed spots, maybe for them it's more like, well, you're actually going to have to go and qualify and prove that you are better than the kind of tier 2 teams, and it's going to be more open in that sense. So if you're a Paper Rex or a Fnatic, or, you know, a team that has historically just been at the top of your region, for you, essentially, it is going to be the same, right? But if you're towards the bottom of your region, maybe not so much.